What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're going to be previewing Port Adelaide versus Adelaide. Showdown 50 at the Adelaide Oval this Saturday night at 7:10 p.m. It's Showdown 50, which is a bit of a milestone for this rivalry. A half century of showdowns. It's been a magnificent journey along the way, and this sure looks to be another fierce contest on Saturday night in front of 15,000 strong Crows fans. 350 of those are going to be Port supporters, a few hospitality, but the rest are going to be those old nutty little Crows fans sitting in their seats getting ready to cheer their boys on. And let's get into it. Let's preview this game. This Showdown's had a little bit of a different build-up, hasn't it? Quite strange, because it's normally with the Showdown, it's off the field, and the rivalry's definitely, there's been a bit of spice to this one, I feel like. Off the field with the ticket allocations, first of all, only 350 tickets given to Port Adelaide for supporters and members out of the 15,000, whereas look, there's a few people brought up the argument of last year's Showdown, which was our home Showdown, where we had 2,200 people rock up, and we gave 475 of those tickets to Crows members. This time only 370 odd for Port fans in a 15,000 capacity. A little bit on the flip side, isn't it? A little bit uneven, but nonetheless, it's the first home Showdown for the Crows in about 2 years. So, nonetheless, 375 of us will definitely make more noise than the 12,000 that'll be there. That's the other off-field issue happening. The other one is Tex as well, and his debacle happening at the moment. I won't touch on that because that is a serious matter, and for all parties' sake, the respect needs to be deserved and given there for that situation. So we'll find out how that unfolds, over the coming days or so. And I think, personally, in my opinion, if you go on the off-field situation, if you're going to give a suspension for on-field, for the sake of Tex, I would prefer him not to play this week. That's not in saying that I'd love to see him rubbed out or whatever. I'm just saying that in terms of protecting himself, protecting any situation or the outcome that happens. If that doesn't happen in the next next couple of days before the game, then he should definitely be looked at not playing, just because for those reasons, and protecting himself and stuff like that, because it could get quite nasty if he does indeed play, and the situation is ever evolving. So that is my opinion on that matter. But nonetheless, this is a game of football between 22 players from each team. It's a rivalry. It's going to be a great, banterous night between anyone that's a Port or Crow supporter. It's a great celebration of South Australian football, and to have it back at the Adelaide Oval for both teams is a massive positive. So I look forward to seeing just the football being played at the Adelaide Oval in front of the fans in general, which is going to be a great spectacle regardless of who the supporters are and what game is on. But it is a Showdown. It's a big game. And 25-24 in favour of Port Adelaide coming into this one to Showdown 50. It would, from a neutral point of view, to have it at 50 Showdowns, to have it 25-25, it would be pretty much, I think, right on par for how the Showdowns have been in the past. But I think Port Adelaide haven't lost a game against a bottom 10 side for just about 2 years now. 2019 was the last time we lost to a bottom 10 side, and we've been ticking all the right boxes in that instance this year, and I think, again, this weekend will be no different to that, because we've got bigger fish to fry than playing the Adelaide Crows on a Saturday night. It is a Showdown. It's very important for bragging rights, etc., but we've got a bigger picture. Top 4 is in our reach, and after this, there's only 2 games to go, and you don't want to be losing games like this in these situations where you're coming up towards finals. You want to have as much momentum as possible. We've lost enough games against top sides. I think beating the bottom sides, get some form going, get some confidence going. Winning a Showdown is pretty much like a final, so this would be a very, very good test for Port to see how they handle the pressure with an away crowd in a finals-like atmosphere situation. This is a good test. It's definitely a good test, and our calibre of players have been put under the utmost of pressures in the last few weeks with all the situations happening off the field with COVID and travelling and all the situations. Same with the Adelaide Crows. So for us, more importantly, this game is a must-win for the top 4 aspect of our season. No doubt it's going to be one that the Crows will get themselves up for, and they do have a good calibre of young talent. They gave the Dogs a good run for the money last week. Yeah, it never really was close, but they were pretty competitive. They beat the Hawks the week before, and then obviously lost to West Coast before that. I think with us, we've come back home after spending 3 weeks at Marvel playing St Kilda, and then playing Collingwood, and then playing GWS on the hard surface. Come back to Adelaide Oval, quarantining. It's a bit of a recovery week. It's offered for 5-day break, 6-day break essentially. So that's something to look at as well. But I think overall, the main thing for this game will be the midfield. If our midfield's on top, which it has been the last couple of weeks in particular, Wines, Drew, Boak, if they're giving our forwards enough service, and I'm really liking the tall forward line of Laddams, Marshall, Georgiadis and Dixon. They kicked plenty of goals over the last 3 weeks, and I think that would give the back line of Adelaide a good run for their money, especially earlier on in the year. Charlie was in pretty good nick. Laddams was looking pretty good. Georgiadis gave the Crows a bit of a test as well. So with Todd Marshall in there, it'll be a good contest, and I think dry weather will help massively. And we'll place probably this time we don't have Tom Cleary, which is a big loss, I think, because I know he's not playing because of form. He can't fit him in the side, but he gave Tex absolutely nothing last time, and if Tex does play this weekend, Tom Cleary is a pretty handy inclusion, I must say, for that matchup. He matches up really well against Tex. Just knows how to play him, knows how to be within his parameters, and Mackenzie's a little bit of a different player. He's more of an intercept marker on his own opponent. He likes to get. He's a good position player, Mackenzie, but he does get outbodied a little bit. But maybe Aliir can go to him. Jonas might even have to have a go at Tex Walker, and with different players in different positions for the Crows, it's a little bit of a mixed match at the moment, and they've got some good talent, but I just think we have too much class across the board. You've got players like Carl Amon who are playing fantastic football. Miles Bergman has been one of the stars of the show this year, and there's too many matchups for the Crows. What they're going to have to do is win it on the inside to beat Port, which it is possible, no doubt about it, but they have to kick a winning score, and they did that against Hawthorn, who do like to leak a few points here and there. But overall, the tall forward line is what grasped me. I think if they do what they did last week and not get in each other's way and really pick at moments and crumb each other, then it's going to be very much hard to stop. And in this showdown in particular, with the young defence that the Crows have, it'll be interesting to see who matchups on who, because if you can stop all four, then Port Adelaide are not winning this game, but it's very hard to stop 4 tools, plus a Lysette going in there as well every now and then, because he can kick goals too, and he's a good ruckman, Lysette, up against O'Brien. They'll move pretty well, and the Crows won't like Scotty Lysette after last time. I can guarantee he'll get a few boos after pretty much murdering one of their players with a sling tackle last time, so it'll be interesting to see the reception he gets, and I have no doubt they'll probably boo Travis Boak, they'll probably boo Ollie Wines, and guess who's back this week? Most likely Robbie Gray, the Showdown specialist, so they'll probably boo him as well. If he comes in, that's the other thing, selection for Port. If he comes in, I think Sam Powpepper will go out. Powpepper's impact hasn't been as great as what we've liked. He's been too much. He has his moments where he's been great in the 1%ers and the tackling and the chasing and at the ball hard, but he's just not around it enough, and he's not having a scoreboard impact. So he's a fringe player at the moment, Powpepper, and I think Robbie Gray will come in for him. And it's sad for Peps, because I think he's got so much more upside, but he's just not utilising it enough, and maybe it's the position change. Maybe it is having the 3 guns in Dersma, Rosie and Buttersback that have changed his role again. Who knows, but stars are starting to align for other players, and others are starting to slip away, and it's not what you want coming into the back end of the year for someone like Powpepper. So I think he'll go out for Robbie Gray, and that'll be the only change at this stage. Maybe Woodcock will go out completely, and Powpepper will be the med sub. So something to think about there. So overall, I'm tipping Port Adelaide. I think we'll win by a 38-point margin. I don't think it'll be a massive blowout. I think the Crows will be competitive, but I just believe that we'll have that classier edge in the end. It'll be a good result for Port. Would be nice to get a bit of a percentage boost, I won't lie, in terms of the top 4 situation, because if we win this, you know, you're still a game ahead of Sydney. You have to beat Carlton next week, bar the smashing that we might get against the Dogs in the last round. If we do get a pretty decent percentage total, then we might lock it in next week. So that's why this is so important for the Power to win this weekend against the Crows in Showdown 50, make it a memorable one, and tick off another box going into what's going to be a pretty exciting final series. Well, Paul fans, that has been my preview for round 21, the Showdown 50 between Port Adelaide and Adelaide. Adelaide's home showdown. It's going to be massive on Saturday night, and I look forward to seeing the boys give it to the Crowies and the fans as well, because it's always nice seeing getting a showdown win. We've done it for a couple of years now, so it'll be even better to get this one done and dusted as well. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you're thinking about this showdown in particular. Check out my previous video of the top 5 Port Adelaide wins in showdowns that I posted yesterday. Give that a shout as well, and yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content coming your way for the rest of the season. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Anthony, and as always, count the pair.